What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of This Freakin' Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast is brought to you by CarterComics.com. That's right, guys. CarterComics.com, in case you haven't heard, is a sponsor of the podcast. It may have been mentioned before. I'm not quite sure. Maybe. But it's the best place to go to get all your comic needs, whether you're looking to start a comic collection or build a comic collection or maybe even complete a comic collection. Like I am one comic away from my completion, which I guess deep down, is there really an end to any type of collection?
No.
No.
Not if you're doing it right.
No. Even when you do like the 50 state quarters and you think you're completed, they come out with new fucking quarters.
That's true.
It's insane. It's insane. They're like, oh, we did all 50 states. Well, now let's do famous historic people. Because I think they did. I think they put like famous, I don't know, historical figures on back of quarters. Like, I think I remember like a Susan B. Anthony one. And I think a Harriet Tubman one.
Yep. Those are both things.
Yeah. So collections are never over. But if you ever think to yourself, like, I just need one more comic, there's a good possibility that Carter Comics has it. So let me tell you how you guys could go about getting your own comics from CarterComics.com. First off, go to I give up. I'm done. I quit.
This freaking show is also brought to you.
God, you know, there's a point. I think it was Dr. Doug who told me like to start looking at doing pre-recorded plugs. And I was like, why? I was like, why? Because realistically, if I didn't do plugs this way, I wouldn't have much fun with it.
Right.
I like the moment where I could screw up and then wander away from the plug and then just find myself again.
Right.
You know, it's like Hansel and Gretel going through the woods, getting lost, finding a candy-made fucking house, gnawing on it for a minute, getting locked up in cages by a witch who's about to eat them until they break free, shove her into an oven, and then break free to find their way home again. That's how I like to do that's how I like to do my plugs. I want to wander off the path, murder somebody, and then eventually go back home like nothing happened.
Yep.
I really don't think that Hansel and Gretel really told their parents that they murdered somebody.
Right. No,
I mean,
I don't think that. I wouldn't.
Right? If you think realistically, if they did, somebody would have gone out to those woods and maybe like tore. That's the other thing too. I'm assuming that Hansel and Gretel isn't the first like couple of kids who have gone missing in those woods.
Right.
So
you think there'd be lots of people.
Right. So how do you not find a candy house in the middle of the fucking woods?
Yeah. Unless it's hidden from adult eyes.
Yeah, was that ever really a thing though?
No, I don't know. Probably not.
But it's just like anyways, CarterComics.com. Here's how you get your comics from CarterComics.com. And you know what? I'm going to do it with you as I go onto the website. Right now, we're going to CarterComics.com. Go ahead and type that into your little search page, whatchamacallits. And as it loads up, you're going to see at the very top there, my account. You're going to click on that and you either sign into your account or you register an account. I'm thinking one day that's going to be called the Carter Comic Club. I think it should. I think that's what the speculation is. Mm-hmm. Also, I think if they changed it from like just a little like my account, little online guy, I think they revamped it into like, I don't know, maybe a little caricature standing there in a cape, and it just says Carter Comic Club. It'll look more pleasing to the eye because this entire website is colorful. There's like designs and stuff all over the place. It's very action packed, and they got this very like, you know, I'm an accountant at a very small law firm in New York. My account, Lil Bunder. Very generic looking. So I'm not a big fan of that button. But you know what? If they changed it a little bit, it'll look just as sweet as the rest of the website.
Mm-hmm.
So all you gotta do is go to that, sign up for the Carter Comic Club, and then you're ready to go. Go ahead and start filling up your cart with all amazing little comics they got. Comics such like Thor number 181, graded at a 7.0. It features Mephisto and Loki as the antagonists. Of course, you got Thor there. Released in October of 1970. So it's graded at 7.0 because it is fairly old. We're looking at about 52 years. About 51 and a half years. Close to 52 years. It is June.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's almost 52 years old, so I think a 7.0 is not that bad. Oh, yeah. And shout out to Doug for thinking that he has to tell me what to fucking do. Because fucking Dr. Doug decides, I'm going to send you a fucking grading scale so you know what each fucking number means. Like, I care. He says this, and I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, well, I just thought maybe this would help you determine what is what. I'm like, I don't know. But he did. So a 7.0 means fine / very fine. Which is another thing. It goes from 7.0 to 7.5. What if somebody sends me a 7.4? What am I going to do? Like, okay, well, 7.0 is fine, very fine. 7.5 is very fine. So, what the fuck is 7.4? Like, I'm sure it's very, very
kind of very fine.
You're right. Right. So, his scale doesn't work. It's flawed. So, don't send me shit, Doug. Let me do my thing. There's only two things that Doug needs to send me, and that's a comic pick of the week and a check. I'll do the rest. Not sure if he knows, but I got an idea of how to do this stuff.
Nice.
So
what he's paying you for. That's what he's paying us for. Yeah.
Let me pump out the gold. And I know what he's thinking is like, and his whole thing is like, oh hey, well if you do the pre-recording and everything, you don't gotta draw out the plug. I'm like, motherfucker, the longer I drag out your plug, the more time you got on the show. It's like, I'm sorry do you not like an 8-minute long fucking plug? I mean, you monster. Anywho.
Right?
Anywho, to quote Sarge, I'm going off on a tangent.
Oh, is that what he says?
Oh, tangent? Yeah. Yeah, he says it a lot. Anywho, Thor number 181 released in October of 1970. Has supporting characters like Sif, the Warrior 3, Balder, Heimdall, Odin, Grand Vizier, Don Blake, antagonists, obviously I mentioned Mephisto and Loki. Locations were the United Nations headquarters in New York City, Mephisto's realm, and Asgard. Mjolnir obviously makes an appearance along with the living mask only in the flashback. Trapped in Loki's body, Thor has been banished to Hades and made prisoner of Mephisto's, sending Sif and the Warrior 3 to his rescue. They attempt to save Thor, however, Mephisto magically powers and legion of demonic creatures prove too much for them, taking advantage of the fact that he has access to Loki's magical might. Thor focuses his powers to free himself from the block of ice that Mephisto has frozen him into. Thor then challenges Mephisto, who boasts that Loki is on Earth, ruining his good name. Currently available at CarterComics.com. All you gotta do is throw it in your cart. Currently $92.99. I get it. It's like, $92.99 what? Like, yeah, it's an old comic. It's a vintage comic. It's a well-graded comic. So, realistically, not a bad deal for a comic. Plus, it's graded. And it's sealed. It's safely in plastic. Hard plastic. Like displayable plastic. I had an idea. I got a couple of my own. Got some wrestling ones from them. Very secure. So, I'm gonna display those on the wall. I think I figured out a nice little way to do that, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that whenever I get paroled from my job. So I'm excited to do that. But I know you guys are thinking like $92.99. What? Well, hey, guess what? we have a promo code with CarterComics.com. That's right. Using promo code FreakNet, that's FREAKNET, use that at checkout, you'll save 10% in your entire order. So that $93 ends up being like, what, 84?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that deal. I know you're thinking like, oh, but what if I want to buy more comics? 10%. It's all 10%. Fill up your cart. Buy $1,000 worth of comics, save $100. Math. Now I know you're thinking, Travis, dude, but I like buying my stuff off eBay. Well, CarterComics.com has 4 different eBay accounts. All you gotta do is make sure you're on the main page. Scroll to the bottom there, and you're gonna see eBay Store 1, eBay Store 2, eBay Store 3, eBay Store 4. 4 little buttons right there above this freaking show little blurb right there on the website. So we are available on their website. It says right there, have a listen. Click that button. You can have a listen to us. Click on one of those. Go to their eBay websites and bid, make offers, buy outright. The possibilities are endless with CarterComics.com. Not to mention the fact that I still don't want to vote. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But C2E2 looks like it's going to be more and more of a thing. So be prepared for me to push comics into your people's faces. CarterComics.com, one-stop shop for all your comic needs. 10% just by using the promo code FreakNet. Pick up your Thor comics as we are diving in. I think it's, I believe Thor Love and Thunder is coming out the 9th? The 8th.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so Jane Foster's coming back. Fucking Christian Bale is making his MCU debut.
Mm-hmm.
Former DC guy. So I'm going to assume it's going to be very similar to his time in DC, but probably less abuse towards his own mother.
Right.
Yes. Because Disney don't play those games. Okay, that's all I got. The plug's over. I'm good. Okay, that's the end of the plug. Yeah, no, we're good now.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I know. Well, you never really know. If it was pre-recorded, you would know. And how boring is that?
Right? It's like that scene in, I don't know if you've watched Rick and Morty, but they do an improvisational. Well, I mean, it's a commercial just like this, and then there's like a break in the commercial where the guy like gets in his car and goes home, and the camera follows him all the way home, and he starts making himself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then he's like, "And we're still selling these things. The commercial's still going." It's awesome. I love it. It's one of the funniest bits I think I've ever seen. I don't know. I love it. Other people don't. Speaking of things that I love that other people don't, but they should love, they should go over to audibletrial.com/freaknet and sign up for a free 30-day trial and get a free credit toward their first audiobook. If I may recommend a fantastic audiobook, I recommend Terraform by Jason Petty, a.k.a. Propaganda. It's a great book of poetry and hope for the future and sort of a collection of ideas and philosophical thoughts that this really, in my opinion, fantastic thinker has put together. And he reads his own book, so when he's performing his own poetry, you get that extra zhuzh, that extra little something that makes it really, really incredible. Yeah. And he is as Propaganda, he is a musical artist. He does some hip hop, and so when he does his poetry, that's in there as part of it. So head over to audibletrial.com/freaknet and check it out. You can do that for free. So.
Yeah, but the thing with Audible, Joe, is I don't think you could really use Audible while driving in a car.
Oh yeah, you can use it while you're driving a car. You can do it while you're taking a walk, taking your dog for a walk. You can anywhere audio goes, Audible goes with you.
Yeah, I mean you say that, but it's not like you could sit on the back deck and use Audible.
Oh sure, yeah, you could get yourself a nice Bluetooth speaker or something, and just sit out there, have a cocktail or a cigarette, or just sit out there and enjoy the weather. Or I'm a coffee guy. I love to sit out on the back porch and drink coffee. Great way to spend your morning.
Okay. Maybe you can on the deck, but not while you're taking a dump. There's no way.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. If you wanna drown out the sounds of the the horrific things you ate haunting your bowels, you can put on some headphones or just turn the volume up real loud on your phone and listen while you're doing that. It's great.
Okay, well, okay, I guess, yeah, if you want to put some headphones on, that's fine. But you can't listen to an audible book like that while you're laying in bed.
Oh, yeah, you can do it while you're laying in bed. A great way to fall asleep. Turn it down so that you have to listen real close and then fall asleep to it.
Okay, so maybe laying down in bed, but not while you're standing doing like household chores or anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, some people like to listen to music while doing their household chores. I like to listen to audiobooks.
You got me, Joe. It seems like you can use Audible anywhere doing anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. And I get that for 30 free days?
Yep. And you get a free credit towards your first audiobook, which is anything on their platform. I once downloaded for free a 72-hour collection of history.
Oh, wow.
I really wanted my bang for my buck. It was a mistake.
That is one long dump.
Yeah. In this one instance, I wouldn't recommend the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. Not a good Audible book.
It's amazing. You get all that just by going to one simple website.
Yep. And that website is audibletrial.com/freaknet.
Nice.
Try it today.
Right? You'd be crazy not to. Ah, jeez. Fucking ads, I tell you. Okay. Well, Joe, we're going to learn about our personalities. We're going to take a personality test here today. Here in a moment. I guess this is a pretty well-known personality test too. So
gotcha.
I know that like the only reason I know about it is because I go on dating sites, and at the bottom of a lot of like profiles it says like INFT dash blah blah blah.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I googled it, and this came up. I'm like, oh, we're definitely doing this. Like 100% doing this.
Yeah, I've done this one a lot of times. I really like this.
You've done this already?
Oh, so not this specific one that we're going to do today, but I've taken the I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not the Enneagram. Myers-Briggs is the official name.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds too classy. Yeah. So I'm not sure how long this test will take, so we'll make sure we give enough time. And then obviously, guys, I'll post a link to this on our Facebook page along with the release of the show. That way you could play along with us. So, I want to talk about bringing shit back. While we're talking about bringing shit back, get the fucking, personality test set up. But I'm going to go first this time. So, because I fear that you may fucking steal my idea again.
Sounds good.
Actually, I don't think you can steal mine because mine is slightly unique. And I know your thing is like, it's like Travis. You keep changing the rules every single week. I'm like, no, I fall inside the guidelines. So this one is just a little bit different because this is a product that still exists, but they changed it so much from what it used to be that I want them to bring the original back, not this revamp bullshit. So I think it still falls within the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know about the Kraft Handy Snacks, like the little package with the crackers and the cheese and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. Delicious snack, very nostalgic snack from back in the day. And you had a couple different choices. I mean, you either had like the cracker stick that you just scoop the cheese out, or you had the flat cracker that you used the red stick to spread the cheese on.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. So,
or if you're me, you scoop the whole thing out with the red stick and eat it, and then eat the crackers separate.
Right, exactly. The whole point that made it great was the red stick. It gave you a convenient and easy to use way of, eating your snacks.
Yep. And probably cancer, but.
Oh, well, yeah. but isn't that in everything though? I mean, really?
Everything that's good, right?
True that. So, Ritz, being trying to find ways to be more eco-friendly and find a way to be best with, the environment, they got rid of the little stick inside the, snacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more little stick. But, obviously they kept the wafer type cracker. So it's not just the stick, but, the flat cracker, which obviously made it inconvenient to scoop, the cheese out because, if you remember the cheese was a little bit thicker, a little bit denser, so trying to scoop that out, you end up breaking the cracker.
Oh, every time. Every single time.
Apparently they changed the cheese to make it more oily and more scoopable, if you will.
Yeah.
So what I propose to, and I guess they also made the crackers a little more durable, whatever, pliable, whatever the fucking term is, whatever you use to make the same word you use to make cardboard more sturdy. That's what they did to the cracker.
Gotcha.
So what I propose for Kraft to do is quit being assholes and take the snack pack of crackers and cheese and bring it back to what it was back in like the 90s, early 2000s. I want the original cheese back. I want the original crackers back, and I want that red stick.
Right. Well, they could even say they don't want to bring the red stick back for environmental reasons or whatever. They could put like in each pack there could be a thicker breadstick that you can use to spread on.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things we can do now.
Ooh,
and you're gonna stick with having crackers that can break and crumble in your cheese.
Yeah. How about this? Couldn't they use a wooden stick, like a popsicle stick?
Yeah, probably.
Right? And call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure wooden popsicle sticks, I think they break down in nature. I think they're biodegradable. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of biodegradable plastic now.
Right? Here's the thing. How about this? I may be crazy for this, but I'm pretty sure they could just convert the entire package into some kind of cardboard container rather than just a plastic container. Right?
You'd think they could do that,
right? I mean, it's got to be doable. You may just make the whole thing. You call it Eco Snacks. Just the whole thing's made out of cardboard and shit like that, and just you got the wooden stick in there for the cheese. The biggest thing that I just want back is I want the original cheese back. I don't want that oily bullshit because at that point, you're just one step away from just nacho cheese, and that's not what I want on a fucking cracker. There's just no fucking point. At that point, you just get the regular breadsticks and call it good.
Agreed.
But no. Yeah. I mean, my all-time favorite was the pretzel one. I'll take pretzels over crackers.
Oh, yeah, any day.
I also liked how I think it had to have been Kraft, maybe Nabisco, whatever. But they came out with the Oreo one, that the Oreo sticks with the frosting and shit. I mean, obviously the originator, the fucking Dunkaroo, amazing. But no, I think Nabisco definitely dropped the ball. I'm like, let's try to be more eco-friendly. Well, how do you want to do that? You want to get rid of all the plastic? No, not all the plastic. Just the little stick that made it necessary to enjoy this. Get rid of that. The rest of the plastic's fine. Just this plastic. Yeah, so no, bring that back. Bring back the original cheese. I want the crispy fucking cracker. I don't want this fucking pliable bullshit. No, just stop fucking with food. So that's what I want to bring back. And if that's yours, good.
Nice. It is not. It is not mine. I actually, just to try and make sure that we didn't have overlap, I went away from food.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things growing up was playing with Legos and Kinects. And when I got to high school, I got the chance to be on a robotics team. And I really miss playing with things that you build. I think it's so much fun. And frankly, things have gotten so expensive now. Legos are ridiculous.
Oh,
it's $100 to get into Legos now, which just sucks. But we're not here to talk about the price of things. We're here to talk about things that need to be brought back. And I don't know. Apparently, they were discontinued long before I was born. But I remember playing with. Maybe somebody found them at a flea market or Craigslist, or maybe a cousin had them, and I somehow got a hand-me-down. But erector sets.
Oh yeah.
What I'd like to bring back. What a cool concept with their little motors and the all of the things that you could do. You could build a crane, you could build a roller coaster. There's so many neat things you could do with erector sets, and they took them away. Allegedly discontinued in 1980. So that's what I want back is erector sets. I miss sitting around and building stuff. That's just so much fun.
Yeah, Joe, I forgot that you were in the robotics thing when you were in school. So I forgot about that. Yeah, no, I know my Nick. When Nick was younger, he had something similar to that, and I think when God, I'm gonna have like a really bad coughing fit here in a minute, so I do apologize. Oh my God, fucking A. I don't know what is wrong with my throat, but I should probably get it checked out. Anyways, Nick had like an erector set when he was younger too, but I think it was like more of like an off-brand generic plastic one. So it wasn't like the heavy-duty metal one that they discontinued back in the 80s. But I was more of a Lincoln Log guy. I like Lincoln Log.
Oh, I love Lincoln Logs too. Those are also excellent.
Yeah, not a big Lego guy. You ever get one of the big like Lego like display things like the ships or the boats or planes that are like excessively too big?
No, well, so man, I can't remember the brand anymore, but I do remember one Christmas I got a set of they were off-brand Legos, so they weren't Lego. They were like I don't know, like Kid Bricks or something. I don't remember.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it was an alien spaceship that was probably 2.5 to 3 feet long, fully assembled.
Okay.
And that was awesome. I did enjoy that one. I think it was probably about 1,000 pieces. And I remember doing Christmas at my grandma's house, and me and Dad working on it, putting it together. It was a good time.
Yeah, I know me and Nick got one like that. We got once. Like I said, I wasn't big into Legos, but I got like a ship. It was like a battleship. And it had been like maybe just about 3 feet long. I think he got like a plane. And I know for some people they're fun. I get that. Colin still does it with his cousin and shit. Legos, not Wilmington style. Don't be weird. But they have fun doing it. I mean, but the thing is, like you said, that shit got fucking expensive. Like, it's ridiculous. The thing that you're spending hundreds of dollars on something that you're putting together and then putting up on a shelf and never touching it again. And I get a lot of I get a lot of collections and shit like that. Like, for example, CarterComics.com. But those are investments in value that are going to go up or down, depending on how the market is. I don't see values in Legos going up and down like that after you take them out of the box and build them. So I mean, like, I guess there's really differences in kind of collections and how you see it. Like when I collect Funkos, I mean, I got a pretty decent Funko collection. I mean, they're all wrestling ones, but I buy them for the value of it. Will I ever sell them? I don't know. Maybe, whenever I get bored of it, but I know that I always buy them for less than what they're worth because, I want to see the value in my collection. If I start buying $30 Funkos for $40, $50, $60, like, well, that's just dumb. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, it's a good one, man. Erector sets. That fits you because you like doing shit like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. God. Person. I want to see, because I want to do this personality test. I want to make sure we have enough time to do it. But I also want to talk about some slightly controversial stuff, and I'm not sure what I want to do first because I don't want the controversial stuff to lull and make the end of our show sad, We'll be brief about it. We'll make it really, really brief. Sure. We'll make it really brief. So simple. Okay. Which is not simple. But we don't talk about a lot of gun control on this show. We don't. But it has been talked about a lot in the news lately. Obviously, a lot of the shooting stuff's been going on. Talk about banning guns and all this other stuff. But I guess my question isn't about gun control itself. It's about purchasing of firearms.
All right.
And I guess it's more about age. I want to talk about age. Because right now in the state of Illinois, I know it's like different kind of everywhere, but I think it's almost pretty uniform everywhere, but maybe a little bit different. If you want to buy a rifle, you want to buy a shotgun, 18 years old. You want to buy a handgun, 21. That's the law to purchase one legally.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. 18 years old, I could buy a shotgun, a hunting rifle, shit like that. I'm not sure where AR-15s fall.
I think they're technically a rifle.
Okay, so 18. Handguns, 21. To legally purchase a firearm in Illinois. I'm not sure what it is everywhere else, but rifles, shotguns, 18. Handguns, 21. So my question to you, Joe, is everything that we have, like as far as age restrictions, it varies between either 18 years old or 21 years old.
Right.
You can, I guess, in a way, if you want to talk about driving, also 16. If you want to vote, 18 years old. You want to join the military, 18 years old. You want to buy cigarettes, state of Illinois now is 21. I'm not sure where it is everywhere else. I think it varies between 18 or 21. But in Illinois, we'll talk about just Illinois right now.
Right, right.
To buy cigarettes, to buy alcohol, 21 years old. To rent a car, I think you have to be like 23.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it's like 23 or 24, which that one's goofy to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk about allowing teenagers under 18 the right to vote. I think 15, 16, 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously increasing the age to purchase all firearms higher or completely gone itself. So my question to you, Joe, is would it be easier to just give a universal age to everything and call it good?
I don't know.
Because, 18 is the age of being an adult.
Right.
That's the decision they gave everyone. It's like, at 18, you're an adult. I don't know why they decided on that age.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know the history of that.
It was just some random number they fucking picked. They
Sure
could win.
Seems like it.
Right? They could win 20.
Right.
You know? Back in Civil War, maybe a little bit after that, I'm not sure. 15, 14, 16-year-olds were all doing, war shit and everything. And I guess in a sense, they're technically kids.
Right.
So, I guess in just your opinion, like, look, if I was to tell you, at 18 years old, you could buy a firearm, you could vote, you could buy booze, you could buy liquor, you could join the military, you could vote. Everything happens the moment you turn an adult.
Right.
What's so wrong with that?
So, I think the biggest problem with it is that your brain really isn't fully developed at 18.
Okay.
Now, that being said, your brain isn't fully developed at 21 either. So, but I think that, I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know. It's not that I haven't thought about it. It's that I haven't heard an argument good enough one way or the other to sway me.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, and I'm with you. Like, there's no logic. Like, if somebody was to ask me what I just asked you,
yeah,
in my mind, it doesn't sound like a great idea,
right?
But I have no reason why it's not, other than, like you said, development of mind.
Right.
But realistically, there are certain people out there in the world who's, even with a developing brain, they don't make the best choices.
Right. Right.
And
I do think, like, it's hard. It's like, not that I necessarily think people should be joining the military, because I just personally don't think that's a thing that people should do. But it's hard to say if you can join the military at 18 that you shouldn't be allowed to drink.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to join the military, you should be allowed to do anything. Now, granted, they can't raise the age for military enrollment, because if they did that, no one would ever join the military, and we wouldn't have a military anymore.
Yeah, I think
if you sit and think about it for 5 seconds, it's pretty fucking stupid to go kill other kids who are just as poor as you, so that you can have a chance at life. But
well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I think a lot of times when it comes to joining the military and everything, it's like you want to aim at youth, because you want your soldiers to be as young as possible, because they're the ones that
destroy. You can break them down to nothing before they're anything, before they have a personality and thoughts of their own. You can take that away and put in your own ideology so that they go do what they're told without thinking about it or questioning it. You know, which is what you want in the military. You know, you don't want people questioning things. You want people following orders.
I was going to go with more of like the physical capabilities, but yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, stronger, faster, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, it's the same sense, and like it's like you said, like okay, so you join the military at 18 years old, but you can't drink until you're 21. You can't buy cigarettes. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, until you're 21. But excuse me, but it's one of those things too. It's like, you know, people sit there and think, okay, you're not responsible enough to purchase alcohol until you're 21 years old, but you have the responsibility, but you're responsible enough to vote for elected officials at 18. But you don't have the maturity to purchase alcohol until 21, but you have the maturity at 18 to vote for elected officials. It's like it's just so weird.
To me, those are such different things, though, because I feel like, you know, even though, I mean, when I was 18, I was a dumbass looking back on it, and I definitely made mistakes in voting. But I also think that, like, the youth have a vested interest in the future that needs to be acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, you know, and part of the problem is we got a friggin' gerontocracy, right? We got all these old ass people who should be retiring and going home to their goddamn grandkids,
mm-hmm.
you know, instead of being in office until they die, or fall off their bike or whatever. You know, it makes me crazy. The fact that, you know, nobody in very few people in political power right now have to care about what happens in 20 years, because in 20 years they'll all be dead.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, on the one hand, I would like to see more, I almost would like to see younger people be allowed to vote, simply because, like, we're hurtling toward things that like are going to be irreversible by the time they're old enough to be in office. And like, they should have a say in that now.
Yeah, but how young though?
Right, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Like,
that's a challenge, right? Because you can't. You can be convinced of things when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You know.
See, my biggest worry, like, if you go too young,
right,
all they're gonna hear is like the positive stuff. They like, I mean, we all know politicians lie.
Right.
They just do. It doesn't matter what side, they all fucking lie. Because they want to tell you the best possible scenario that can come out of them being elected.
Right.
So when you hear a kid who's 15, 16, 17 years old, and all they hear from their elected official is free college, and this is something that they're going to have to worry about in a year, 2 years, or 3 years,
mm-hmm.
and they don't do any other research other than, well, hey, if this guy gets into office, he's going to give me a free education. That's one less thing I have to stress about. I'm going to vote for that guy.
Yeah. Why is that a bad thing, though? Why do you think that free college would be bad?
It's not. I'm not saying the free college is a bad thing.
Just checking.
I'm giving an example of, if they don't listen to everything, they just focus on the one thing that is going to benefit them and benefit them alone, then they won't do any research and be like, I'm fine with that guy. It could be anything. It should be like if you vote for me, I'll make drinking age 18 years old.
Right.
You know, they'll only focus on what benefits just them. They won't do any research on anything else. I have no problem with it.
I feel like that's not that different for people who are older than 18 or 20, though.
But I think the older people, like, I'm not even saying like 21, 22. I'm saying like people in their 30s. I think they're the ones that do the more research than anything else. But I think they've also seen, you know, a lot of the shitty things that happened in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where it's like, okay, now, you know, I know what happened back then. Let's see what happens now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have no problem with free college. I just think I do believe there should be restrictions on free college. I think free college should be based on, you know, a grade point average, how well you do in school. I don't think you should, you know, go into college, get free college, spend the entire time not doing your, not doing your work, completely fail your first 2 semesters. Like, okay, well, mulligan, I'll try again later. I think there should be a payback period, program for it too. If you go into college, you don't even try. You're just like, oh, hey, free college, fucking let me go. You spend the whole time partying and completely fail, I think you have to pay that back.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think free college should only go to the people who actually try, who actually want to better their career. Doctors, I mean, fine, yeah. Give them free fucking college. Why should some dude have to spend 8 to 10 years busting his ass in fucking school to help out other people in a medical profession to be like, cool, you're going to have to pay back $500,000 fucking loan or whatever the fuck it is, 300,000, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, like, that's still fine. You know, figure out a way to give him free education. But the thing is, like, free education should only go to people. For me, not the greatest kid, not the smartest guy. I hated fucking college.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I think now, if I had the opportunity to go to school now, I think I would try a lot harder.
Yeah. Well,
19, I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I don't think there should be restrictions on it, is because I think that a lot of the scholarships that exist only exist if you're under a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
I had to decide. I had to decide immediately, like, what my major is going to be, whatever, because I had a particular scholarship that had a time limit. And if I didn't meet that limit, then I was going to lose the scholarship. And it paid for, like, everything. It was like everything but room and board was covered under the scholarship. And so it's like, maybe kids wouldn't go to school right away. Maybe they'd go into the workforce and figure out what they need and then go back to school later when they're a little bit more mature if they didn't feel this pressure to do it right away.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like that's one of the big problems is there's this pressure to go do it, you know, and so you do it, but you're not really emotionally or mentally ready. And so you screw around, you get drunk all the time and you don't ever accomplish anything. And then you fail out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't think students like that should get free college. I really don't. I mean, it should go to the people who are going to try. I don't want to say succeed, because a lot of kids, you know, they could fail, but they could try the hardest, and I feel bad for people like that. But the people who are willing to succeed, I don't want, because the thing is, like, free college isn't necessarily free. Some tax is going to be raised or some shit to cover something. It's going to happen. So in that sense, like, I just don't want to see money going towards some guy who just wants to go away to a fucking college in Hawaii because he wants to watch fucking women run up and down beaches while he gets drunk with his buddies. That stuff doesn't make sense. So if there's restrictions to it, yeah, fine. Like, I mean, like, you know, like, just make sure you're paying. It's almost like an investment. You just want to invest in people who are going to better the future of the world. Even themselves, whatever. Regardless, I just don't want to pay for somebody's fucking 4-year fucking party. That doesn't make sense to me. But the whole thing was that.
Yeah, I think we're focused on guns at this point. And, you know, one of the challenges, because I'm honestly torn, because, like, there are people who, you know, long guns are a tradition in the country, and they are, by and large, the best weapon for self-defense, for community defense, and for hunting, which are the three reasons, in my mind, that anybody should have a gun. And so, you know, I don't think that we should restrict most long guns from most people purchasing them. But I also think that a lot of the people writing the laws for things don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so they write these laws with these incredibly specific, like, lengths of the barrel or this or that. And you end up losing things through the cracks, so that like a sawn-off shotgun is illegal, right? It has been for years. It's actually less accurate than a regular shotgun, less deadly than a regular shotgun. But because people were scared of it, they outlawed it. Well, you can go out and you can buy a pistol-gripped sawn-off shotgun, and because it's a pistol grip, it is technically not a shotgun.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. That being said, I do think that there are, you know, like the guy in Buffalo who went out as an 18-year-old and said, I'm doing suicide by cop today. and he bought an AR-15 for $4,000 on a credit card, knowing he's not going to have to pay that credit card back. He's going to be dead today. You know? Yeah. And then he goes and he kills 10 people in the supermarket. Maybe if he'd had to wait another couple of years, he wouldn't have done that. And I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is on that front. But I think age restrictions are not as useful as, like, what is the history of violence in this person? You know, did they, as a kid, did they, like, rip the wings off of flies? You know, as an adult, are they beating their wife and kids? They probably shouldn't have a gun. Like, those are the people I don't want having guns, are the people who are going to more likely than not kill somebody with it. And the other side of it too is, you know, you're more likely to kill yourself with a gun than anybody else. Which might be another good reason to put off the age, because the older you get, the less likely you are to kill yourself, simply because as your brain develops, you finally figure out, like, oh, no, life does get better. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really conflicted about it, to be honest with you, when it comes to age and things.
Yeah. If there was a realistic justification on why certain things are certain ages, it may be able to help me understand it more. But it's just like, you're responsible. We trust you enough at 16 years old to get behind a wheel of a car and drive around and not hit anything. Right. But you can't buy cigarettes or vote yet. But we'll trust you driving a vehicle around. Mm-hmm. You know, we trust you to vote. We trust you to buy a shotgun. We trust you to join the army. But you're not quite ready to buy cigarettes and alcohol yet.
Right, or a handgun.
Right. You're responsible enough now to buy booze. You can buy cigarettes. You can buy handguns. But don't come to fucking rent a center and rent a car yet. Right. Yeah. Fucking A. I'm talking.
Yeah, I'm with you. It is absurd on some levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I agree with you.
Yeah. I would just like to know where all this, like, where these ages have been decided. And maybe I'll look into it. Maybe I'll look into it when we're done with the show, because there's got to be an answer for it out there and why 18 is decided to be the adult. Because, I mean, they could just round it out to fucking 20, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's like the ages they picked for, in the Constitution, you got to be 25 to be a congressman, you got to be 30 to be a senator, you got to be 35 to be president. And I'm 99% sure that the reason they picked those ages is because that's the ages of the guys who got those jobs back when they were writing the Constitution.
Oh, probably.
You know, they were looking around, they were like, yeah, you'll probably be a senator. How old are you? 30? Perfect. Let's write that down.
Right. Isn't it also weird to, if you think about it, when they decided they had to be 35 to be president, fucking people weren't living that long back then.
Right.
You know?
I mean, if you made it out of childhood, you were probably going to make it to 60. But
that's true. But yeah,
so many people died in infancy that it really drug down the average.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of curious about, your thoughts on set ages for certain things and stuff like that. It just never made any sense to me. I just want to make sure I wasn't alone.
No. Yeah, and it's like, on the one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't be beholden to the ideas of adulthood that existed 200 years ago, because adulthood is different now.
Yeah.
You know? People are living so much longer, and adolescence is going into the mid-20s. Mm-hmm. You know, but I also, I don't want to take away the right to vote from someone who's 20, because I feel like someone who's 20 cares about how things are going to be 20 years from now a lot more than someone who's 40.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, at a young age, I mean, the shit that's going to be decided now is going to be their futures. You said that earlier. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of the, and that was a goofy thing, too, is when I first heard that they were talking about lowering the voting age, my first thought was fuck no, because kids really don't have the responsibility, the mindset to do that. But then I kept thinking, why do I believe that? Right? I don't know. I know a lot of 16-year-olds who are more mature than fucking most 20-year-olds I fucking know. You know, it's just So, like, maybe it's not a bad idea. You know, maybe it could be a good idea. But then I kept thinking about it again, and then I thought to myself, like, why 16? like, it's just weird how like you have to sit there and like, you know, at a certain age, it seems more okay than to do this than it is anything else, and I don't know why that is.
Right. You know, well, and it's not to get into the weeds on political theory, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's one of the reasons that I don't like our particular form of government. You know, I would prefer a much more localized, you know, obviously to do things on a national scale, you need a national government of some kind, but the decisions that affect your everyday life should be the things that are most important to your community, right? And so, like, you know, maybe get rid of age limits entirely, but also make it incumbent upon the community to decide that somebody is ready to vote. You know, but then how do you balance that with like the history of racism in this country and the history of misogyny, where people will be like, well, she's just a lady, so she can't think hard. You know, it's stupid. I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is. But I would prefer something like that though, because you know, everyone knows that one woman who is the argument for why all women should vote, right? Like everyone has that lady in their life who like is just a badass who, right, wrong, or indifferent, gets shit done. Like I want that lady to have a say. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, and you look at teenagers. Like if valedictorian walked in, not valedictorian because I'd be 18 by that time, but a very smart person walked into the fucking, you know, voting booth and said, I want to vote. I want to vote. Let's say a valedictorian of 8th grade graduation, whatever, 14 years old. They walked in at 16 saying, here's my report card. I got straight A's. I never missed a day of school. Like, that person seems responsible enough to make a decision for the country going forward. Yeah. But is it do I have the right to turn away somebody who just got suspended at school, you know, because they fucking missed a couple periods and shit like that and everything? It's like,
right. Well, and then you have people who are very smart. Like I think about our little brother Michael, who, as far as I can tell, anything he's ever set his mind to, he's accomplished. But he was terrible at school because he didn't care about it.
No.
You know, which I totally get. Looking back on it, like, being good at school is not a good measurement of whether or not you'll be a good citizen or whether or not you're a good thinker or whether or not you're particularly smart. It's a measure of how good you are at jumping through hoops set up by rich people who want to preserve the status quo and maintain their power and their wealth.
Yeah.
You know,
when I was in school, like, I got by. Like, I graduated. But I mean, like, I wasn't like in the top fucking 25% of my fucking grade. Like, it just, I just got bored too easy. And it wasn't because, like, you know, it wasn't because I was too smart to pay attention. It just, like, a lot of this shit, like, I learned what I needed to learn to get through life. Is my life going great now? Not really. If I tried a little bit harder, maybe got the degree that I wanted to get, maybe life would be easier. Who fucking knows? Right. Not saying it would have been,
well,
but I don't know.
I mean, if you were a history teacher, you wouldn't be making what you're making now.
No.
Not no, God, no. You know?
No. But it's just one of those things where it's like you can sit there and say like certain people are entitled to vote based on how well they do in high school, you know, based on grades, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, like it's like with former convicts now. You know, them getting the right to vote again, you know, after going through.
They paid their debt to society.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same argument. It's like, why can I sit there and say, like, this guy went to prison, paid his debt to society, got released, let's give him the right to vote, you know, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You have to look at the same way as that in high school. Yeah, this kid got suspended for getting in a fight at lunch, but you know what? He got suspended. He did his time. Let's move the fuck on, you know? So it's just, it was just a goofy thing I kept thinking about.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It is goofy. It is goofy. And I really don't know what the answer is, but I'm with you in that I think it's goofy, but I don't know what the answer is. And also, like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, and that's the thing, because that's like it. Like if I went up to anybody, if I went up to any politician, I don't care if it's a current politician, somebody who's running for election, whoever, and I went up to them and says like, why is the drinking age 21? All will be about maturity and shit.
Right.
Like, okay, so you don't trust me to buy booze from 21, but at 18 years old, you trust me to put a gun in my hand and go across the fucking world and defend America in a very violent way.
Right.
I mean, it's like where's the balance there? Like I can't buy a fucking pack of Marlboros, but you allow me to get into a vehicle to drive to a gas station.
Right.
It's like, I mean, it's like there's no logic to the ages that they decided shit. And I know like I think Illinois was one of them that they almost moved the driving age to 18.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But even then, it's like, you motherfuckers like, okay, I can't drive till I'm 18, but it's like, goofy.
It's great.
Anyways.
It's great if you live in the city where there's lots of good public transportation.
Yeah.
Like if all of your if all of your policies worked around like actually helping people,
Mm-hmm.
I think you could raise the driving age to 18, because if that was how our policies worked, every small town in Illinois would have great public transportation that let them get to work on time and let them get to Chicago and let them get wherever they needed to get at a reasonable time on time every day.
Yeah.
But because we don't have that, people downstate need to be able to drive. People in the suburbs need to be able to drive because we've set up our society in a way that you can't work if you can't drive.
Yeah.
You know, and there's the exceptions. There's the people who've been walking 40 miles to work every day for 10 years. But, you know, the reason that it's an exception is because it's the rule.
Yeah. We're going to do this.
And
and
I don't know. How are you supposed to get ahead in life if you almost have to have a job at 16 now or even earlier to get ahead in life if your parents aren't rich.
Yeah.
You know, and not even that rich. Like your parents just have to make like, I don't know, between 100 and 200,000 a year. Makes me mad. Sorry.
Let's do this for next week. I'm going to send you a list of things. Okay, driving, voting, military, blah blah. I'm going to send you a list of things for the next episode. I want you to decide. You personally decide the age for which those things are allowed to be done.
Yeah.
So we'll do that for next week because I really do want to get this personality test done. I don't know how long it's going to take, and we're kind of we're getting a little bit long. Well, we're going to share kind of at the end of the show.
Should we save the personality test for next time?
Yeah, we'll save the personality test for next time too. Yeah, because we are kind of like wrapping up here. All right, yeah, we'll save the personality test for next time. That's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry to bum you all out, but we're gonna fucking wait on it.
Yeah, I'm not bummed. I'm amped.
No, well, I told everyone everyone to get the personality test done while we're doing the bring it freaking back and everything. But yeah, no, it's well,
I don't know. It's just interesting, and I like interesting conversations.
Well, do you just want to do the age thing? Could you come up with ages for everything right now, or do you want to like get some time to think about it?
I think I could come up with it right now.
All right. I'm gonna post here. We'll make sure I get everything that I want to. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna throw you out some things that are age restricted, and you just tell me what you would make the age restriction at. Okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. So driving right now is 16 years old. Would you keep it at 16, or would you change it?
I would keep it at 16. I think.
I would change it to 14. Going right into high school. But the thing is, you have to pass the driving test. Why the fuck not?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's fair. That's a good point.
People got to high school, I'll say 14. I'll say 14 years old. Or whenever you get into fucking high school. I think
14 would be okay, but I would want some kind of curfew on driving.
Oh, yeah. No,
there has to be some, like, you have to be only using it to go to work and go home or to buy groceries or something like that. Like, I don't want kids just joyriding at 14 for whatever reason.
Well, let's do this one first. Legally an adult.
I think 18 is fine.
So we just want to keep that at 18?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to keep that at 18 then. So for driving, because in the state of Illinois, at least down in Will County, if you're under the age of 18, you can't drive past 11 p.m. That's the law.
Gotcha.
I think for this, I would move it to 10 o'clock if you have a job.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as driving, like if you have to drive to work back and forth, then yeah, because I mean, like when I worked at McDonald's, I didn't get off work until 1 a.m. But that was
right.
That was the exception to it. But I had to go straight home. I couldn't just joyride around and shit.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we fucking did, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
14, 15 years old. I do think there's a limit. I think there could be a restriction to it. Like, listen, at 14, 15 years old, you could drive, but that's to school, that's to work, that's to a friend's house. You know, maybe no restriction. Like, you have to just pass the driving test. I think if you can pass the driving test at 14, 15 years old, being in high school, I think it's totally fine. What about getting a job? I mean, they usually say 15 with a permit to 16 years old. I have no problem. I mean, like, why do you have to put an age limit on fucking finding a job? I would do 13.
Right.
I would say 13.
I guess my challenge is on this one is like, I don't think kids should work because I think kids should be kids. But I also recognize the reality that sometimes a family needs an additional income.
Well, it's not forcing them to work.
You know,
it's if they want to work. I'm not saying that 15 years old they're being shoved into factories and shit.
There are a lot of parents that are going to force kids to go to work when the kids should be just being kids. And that's my issue is that, like, when you're 13, you can't even, like, the age of non-consent for sex is 13. 2 13-year-olds having sex is actually illegal because they're not old enough to decide for themselves that they should be doing that.
Well, like, yeah, but I mean, any company can decide if they want to hire a 13-year-old or not. When I say 13 years old, I mean like busboy, drive-through at McDonald's. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that somebody at 13 years old is
to that. I would be fine with it, but I'm not convinced it would be, and that's my problem. I don't trust employers,
but I'm
to do the right thing.
I don't see anyone at 13 years old being hired on at a fucking gas refinery, dealing with like, shit like that. I mean, it's possible. Hell, I mean, like, if you change the age, then yeah, but I mean, like, I'm gonna say 13 years old. I mean, I know I had a job at 15. I was a busboy and stuff like that. Like I said, based on a maturity level. I mean, like, you hire people based on who they are. Yeah. Like some dude who fucking, looks disheveled at 13 years old who's going to go apply to be a receptionist somewhere or an administrator somewhere and stuff like that, you're probably not going to get hired because based on how they look and even work experience and shit like that.
Yeah, I think I'd still personally leave it at 15 with a permit, 16 unrestricted.
Okay. What about voting?
If there could be a way to make it like provisional, like as a 16-year-old, you're only allowed to vote on referenda for your community. I think I'd be cool with 16. Otherwise,
so local, 18, like mayors and trustees and stuff, or like governor.
I wouldn't even necessarily want them voting for local officials as much as like, what are those officials going to do? Like when I lived in Forest Park, for example, they, as a community, they paid for a dude to ride around in a bobcat and shovel the sidewalks when it snowed.
Okay.
And every couple of years at the election, they would be like, hey, is this something we should continue to do, or is it a waste of money? Like that's the kind of thing, like on a local level, I would be totally cool with a 16-year-old voting on. Should the government produce documents that are easy to read and understand versus these huge complex omnibus bills. Like that's the kind of thing I think a 16-year-old should be voting on. I don't think I'm comfortable because I do think you're right. I do think because they can be potentially so easily swayed to vote for somebody based on lies, Yeah.
How about this, Joe? I want to throw this idea at you. I'm not sure if this may exist. It probably exists somewhere. I've never heard of it, but let me throw this idea at you. So Peatone has a mayor, has a board of trustees.
Yeah.
Okay. What if towns had that, but they're like teenagers?
I'd be into that. Like a youth council?
Yeah, like a youth council. Exactly. Like you had like a junior mayor, you had junior trustees. They have their own meeting, they have their own ideas, and then that junior mayor presents to the actual mayor and trustees of the town. And then that group gets to make the decision on, okay, should we move forward with this and shit like that. It'll teach the kids responsibility, and then only kids get to vote in that, gets to vote for those trustees, gets to vote for that mayor. It's basically like, it's giving them the ability to have a voice, but they get to work within themselves.
Yeah, and you're enfranchised, you're involved in your community, you get to make some decisions. I think that's wonderful. I think that's a really good idea.
Right, because I mean, I know, like, because I mean, like, my brother is a trustee in Peatone here. I think I may run for trustee. I'm not quite sure. The work schedule thing is a factor, obviously. But I know a lot of kids, they won't go to these meetings because, like, well, no one's going to listen to me. Fuck this. I'm just a kid. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah.
Right, yeah.
Adults will go because adults have no problem speaking to other adults. I think they could do the same thing for teenagers and children and shit. But, like, listen, you know, like, you take the group from, and maybe just focus on high school, maybe 12-year-old if you want, whatever.
Yeah, I think like 13, 14, I think that'd be dope.
Yeah, so, you know, I think like if you do 13 up to 17 or whatever, maybe.
Yeah, it's like high enough stakes that, like, you know, so Chicago, in an effort to curb gun violence, passed that curfew that doesn't work, and has actually made things worse. And there's a group called Good Kids Mad City. That's primarily, I would say 14 to 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, we've done all this research. We're good students. We've come up with a policy that we think would work to curb violence in the city and help decrease gun violence. And because they're kids, that's been totally dismissed.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, to be able to be like, no, look, we're the people you're trying to put a curfew on, and we're saying that this is what would actually work. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah,
right. Because, and that's the thing too, is like you're given multiple voices of children, of kids, whatever, however you want to define them as, who may be too nervous to go to a board meeting. You're giving all those multiple ideas to a junior board of who are voted on by their peers to take that themselves to the meeting. So you give your voice to somebody else who's capable of going to the meetings and doing the things. And like they have to present, they have to give, a logical explanation to it. And you know what? Then the board of adults, they decide on it. Cause obviously it's like, it's going to be village money and all that sort of stuff. Whatever they want to do, like, hey, a beautification of a park or, maybe an event, some shit like that.
A new youth center or,
yes.
A place to hang out that's not school and not home.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. I think if towns and shit did something like that, I think it'll show our kids more responsibility. It'll show that you respect them more by giving them the opportunity to do stuff like that. Like
I'm into it.
Like I said, it's got to be a thing somewhere. I mean, like, right? I mean, somebody else had to have thought of it. I'm gonna see if I can bring that up to somebody. Yeah. Because if that's not a thing, I think that'd be a really good fucking thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, give them a small portion of the budget that, like, they get to choose whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Even if it's like, I mean, they could even decide, like, hey, as a town council, we're going to set up a college fund with the budget you give us every year. It's probably not going to benefit us, but like 10 years from now, it's going to have $1 million, and any kid who goes to school from our town is going to be able to use it as long as they keep their grade above a 2.0. Or 2.5. I don't know. It's up to them. They should decide the limit.
Right? Yeah.
But I'm into it. I love that. Yeah. I just, anything that gets people more involved in the process, I think is important. Yeah. And especially as a kid, when you feel so disenfranchised and you've got no power, no control. I mean, I think this is great. What a good idea.
Right. And not only that, like, it allows them to maybe, like, get some practice in to move up to potentially be an actual, leader of a town, leader of a village, governors, president, whatever, secretary of state, anything.
Too many people in national politics come from areas because that's where the opportunities are. They come from areas that are wealthier suburbs
Yeah.
or wealthy neighborhoods of cities, and it's because they can do that. And I think small towns could absolutely produce a great crop of young adults who are ready to take charge of things. I love it. I'm into it, man.
Right? God, I'm gonna talk to somebody. Like, if I can be a game changer in this point alone, we're gonna do the age things again next week. We're running out of time. We're doing too much.
All right, sounds good.
But God, how magic! Oh man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm gonna talk to. But I'm gonna talk to somebody.
Okay.
Anyway, Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
Well, now I'm freaking thinking about this, but
I know, right?
But the reality is, I'm actually freaking thinking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, the finale for the season came out yesterday. Watched it right away. Really loved it. I enjoyed the whole series. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who isn't caught up. But it's I really liked it all the way through. I will say we talked about it a little bit last night on Geekcast Live. But the show does get better with every episode. So if you watch episode 1, you're kind of like, that fell flat for me. Go ahead and watch episode 2. Cause I think once you see episode 2, you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm ready. I'm invested now. So really the first 2 episodes, in my opinion, should have been one long pilot episode.
So you need to watch episode 2 to get vested into it.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I was ready from episode 1 because I really liked the characters and the way they decided to do stuff. But I do think if you only watched episode 1, I could totally see being like, well, this is not what I thought it would be, and I'm out.
Gotcha.
Whereas because like the way that it's almost like they literally just cut an episode in half and just started episode 2 where the other one ended.
Okay.
And I think if they just made it one long hour-and-a-half episode, because they're only like 45 minutes a piece anyway, it would have been better. So.
Gotcha.
Nice. But great show. Really enjoyed it. And especially toward the end, the last 2 episodes are so good that any problems you have with the first 2 episodes, I think are going to be totally covered over. That's my bold claim.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what about you? What are you freaking thinking about?
You know what? I was going to talk about Miss Marvel because I watched the first 2 episodes of it.
Nice.
But I'm going to save that one because something else came up. I don't know why I thought of it, but I came up with an either-or scenario that I kept thinking about so much, and I asked a couple people at work. And I want to ask you, because this is what I've been kind of freaking thinking about for the last couple of days. So I want to ask you an either-or question to get your perspective on it.
All right.
Okay. Let's say you're sitting at a table and in front of you there's 2 buttons. Okay. One says past, one says future.
Okay.
All right. If you press the past button, it will take you back in time to the worst event of your life. You don't get to decide what it is. You don't get to decide. The button decides. The button dictates the worst thing that happened in your life.
Wow.
All right. Okay? And you get an opportunity to fix it. If you press
when you go back, do you get to know what the worst thing was? Or is it just like you're like, do you understand why it's the worst thing, or does it just happen to you? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, as soon as you go back, you instantly know, like, oh my God, I remember this happening. Yes, I know exactly what's going to happen. And you know what you need to do to prevent it from happening.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
If you press the future button is going to throw you into the future to the worst event that's going to happen to you.
Oh, all right.
And you know what it is. So when you come back, you can prepare yourself to correct that.
Oh, so you go back and correct it and then come back to the present for the past one?
No.
You have to relive everything in the past.
Yep. You go to the future.
But if you go to the future, you come back and you can work to prevent that thing.
Yes. No,
Gotcha.
wait, listen. But I think I said yes to the wrong thing. If you go to the past and fix it, you get brought back to the present. Fix it.
Oh,
okay.
Back,
whatever. If you go to the future, you see what happens, you come back, and you got to live your life to that event, and prepare to stop that event from happening.
Mm.
Good? Following me?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one do you choose?
Gosh, that's a tough one because I don't know how my life would be different if I went back to whatever the worst thing was, because I don't know what the worst thing was.
Right. See, and that's the thing. Like, because I asked two people at work. One said the past, one said the future. And the one person in the past, their big thing. They're a huge believer in the fact that if you step on a ladybug, everything changes.
Right.
So it's like, so they chose the future because, well, no, I guess they both did choose future. No, he chose the future because he didn't want to go into the past and change anything.
Mm.
Okay, fine. The other guy went to the future because he said that nothing in his past was that bad. My whole thing was like, because obviously I don't get to choose, like, I want to go back in time to change this. No, I press the button, it decides what the worst thing is.
Yeah.
Go back in time, boom, this is the worst fucking thing.
Gotcha. In my mind, to clarify, is it the worst thing that I have control over? Because, like, say the worst thing is my parents' divorce. I can't stop that, and nor should I.
I mean, you could.
Well, I mean, I don't have any power over it.
But yes, you could change it. No matter what it is, you could change it. No matter what it is.
Okay, gotcha.
But the thing is, it's anything relatable to your life. Now, you can't go back in time and stop the Holocaust. It's nothing like that. This button.
It has to take place during the time that you're alive.
It has to take place in your life. Like, you can't stop 9/11.
Right. Oh, yeah, fair.
It has it has to be related. It has to impact your life. Whatever you go back in time to do, it has to be an impact. It's the biggest impact in a negative way to happen to you. The button decides what that is. So, like, in my mind, I think to myself, like, there's a lot of things I love to go back and change or love to go back and fix. Hell, even if there was like, if the worst thing in my life was I had an opportunity to spend time with my grandfather one more time before he passed away, and instead of doing that, I went to the movies with my buddy instead, and he happened to pass away the next day. Even if it was that.
Right.
Is that worse than anything that could potentially happen to me in the future? Like, I never got my health in control, and I ended up dying, like, in my late 30s. But if I start now and get healthier, maybe I can have a better longevity. Or it's something in the future where, like, I went out, drank way too much, drove around, and crashed. Now I know, like, hey, maybe I need to ease up on the drinking before I go out, and I can prevent this from happening. Things like that. It's like, is what's going to happen in the future? Could anything possibly in the future be any worse than anything that happened in my past? Or is there something that happened in my past that I don't even remember, but could potentially have been the worst thing in my life that I know I can go back and fix?
Yeah. Do I remember both timelines, or do I only remember the new timeline when I come back from the past?
New timeline only.
I would go to the past.
You go to the past?
I would go to the past.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I don't know what I did. I'm content in the present, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know how life would be better, and I feel like life would be better if I fixed whatever the worst thing that happened to me was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't remember the current timeline and things are radically different, I'm not going to have any regrets.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go to the future and I come back and, maybe for like a week or two, I'm really motivated to prevent the thing. And then like 3 weeks from now, I'm like, do I really care? Mm-hmm. Is it worth changing everything about my life to prevent that one thing from happening?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to settle back into my bad habits a lot more easily than being potentially a totally different person because of how the past was changed.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing about, like, like the whole thing that always like kind of like mess with me is like I can't think of anything that happened in my past that is the absolute worst. Like, there was never a moment where I chose a friend over my grandfather. That was just per example.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, like, I would love to change, like, outcomes for relationships, efforts I put into school, work, stuff like that, decisions and job choices over ones or the other. The thing is, though, is like, and a lot of people say the same damn thing. You are who you are based on the decisions you made in your life. I think I am where I am right now because of everything that happened to me in the past. So would I really change anything?
Right.
Maybe a couple things, but like, there's no major thing I could think of in my life that if I went back and changed, it would make my life 10 times fucking better. Like there just isn't. It's not like I could go back. I mean, obviously I could go back in time, pick the fucking, $1.2 billion fucking Powerball numbers and win then, but that's not how this works. This is changing one little thing back in the past, come back to the future, and now you're living that new life.
Yeah.
You know, so be it. I mean, obviously there's, you know, like, hey, you know, like if I was to, I don't know, if I was, if the worst thing in my life was losing fucking Jenna, let's say, okay, and I never lost fucking Jenna, I don't know if I'd be in this house. I don't know if I'd still even be in fucking Illinois. Obviously, Crystal or Melissa wouldn't be a thing. I mean, that changes a lot. I don't know if I would even be a fucking Intertech. I mean, who the fuck knows? Like, all that shit fucking changes.
Yeah.
But is it that big of a risk to take for that to be the worst fucking thing than prevent anything that could potentially happen in the future?
Right.
You know? So I would choose the future just because if anything was to be the worst, it would have to be ahead of me because nothing in my past is something that, you know, realistically is too bad to have to fucking change.
Yeah.
So, but no.
Yeah.
That's
what I feel like I kind of feel the same way about it, but like, not knowing what it would pick for me.
Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing too significant could change, but it would be hopefully significant enough that I would be either in a better place right now or would like who I am a little bit more. Whereas in the future, I feel like, you know, I'm good enough at feeling like I've got a handle on what's going to happen next. Personally, just for me, because that's what I spend all my time thinking about, which is stupid and terrible. But I feel like I'm going to avoid most of the mistakes I've made in the past inform the mistakes I'm going to make in the future. Yeah. And so that's why I want to change the past.
Yeah. Well, see, and there's the thing too, Joe. It's like, you don't have to change it if you don't want to.
Right. True.
I mean, realistically, you could go back into the past and to say, hey, listen, this is the worst moment of your fucking life. But you know, if you change this this all fucking goes away. You have a completely different fucking life. Yeah. So it's like, so now you have to come to that realization. Like, do I want to fucking change it? Like, let's give a perfect example. Like, okay. Yeah. You press the pass button. You go back. You have an opportunity to change your parents from getting divorced.
Sure.
Doing so, you never meet your wife. Right. Are you okay with that? Now come on. You go back to you press that button, you change it, you go back, you don't remember anything about your wife and shit like that. Right. After you fix.
After I change it. Right.
After you change it. You'll never, so like, is that, I mean, like, so realistically, I guess you could live with doing it, but
would I want to?
Yeah. Would you want to?
I think, to me, the risk reward is high enough that I would take the risk. Yeah. Yep. I love my wife. I'm happy we met. It's wonderful, and we've built a great life together. But I also think it'd be interesting to see. I mean, not that I wouldn't be able to compare, but the fact that I would have no regrets makes it totally worth it to me.
Ooh, here's a question for you, and this will be my last question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
If you could decide, like, if there was a machine in front of you, I think this is a movie or a TV show, that you could say, I want to see what life would be like if this was to happen. And it could play out a quick snippet. It'll play out how life would have been if blank was to happen. Oof. What event would you choose? Keep in mind, you can't change it, you can't fix it, but now you know what life would have been like if blank was to fucking happen. You can see it, but you can't make it happen. It's not going to really happen. You can just see how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would I pick?
Yeah, what would you pick?
That's your question.
Yeah.
Man. What kills me is there's a lot of things that I would pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and it's just which one is the one that I want to tell the world about right now.
Yeah.
I
could think of what it would be for you. I just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it would be?
I think the one thing I think you would want to see is what life would have been like if you stuck to the engineer profession in college over the way you're doing now.
That's a good one.
Not to say what you're doing now. I mean, what you're doing now is important. I think to me, I think you made a good choice.
Yeah. Well, and looking back on it, I could have still gone to seminary with an engineering degree. Yeah. And I don't think that would have changed much.
Yeah. But I think like if I would have been interested to see what you would be doing now if you stuck to straight engineering.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But at the same time, like, okay, and because I'm trying to remember, and I don't for the life of me, like, did you meet your wife before or after that change? Would that change?
Before.
Okay, so.
Yeah, we met the very first day of orientation at Purdue.
Gotcha. Okay, so that wouldn't have changed anything. So I mean, like, who knows? I mean, and depending on, like, because you would have been, you probably would have done with school by now. Definitely be done with school.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
especially since an engineering master's degree is only 2 years, whereas seminary took me 4.
Oh, well, fuck yeah. See, you could have been fucking like out east, out west. You could have been anywhere else doing what.
Making probably $125 a year easily.
Right. See, that's something I would have loved to have seen. Like, if I was to choose for you, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So, or I could have been using my engineering principles a little bit more intensely to do church stuff. Be an interesting way to do things.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good one. I guess my thing is I'm thinking about like some of my greatest regrets. Mm-hmm. Like, like realizing, for example, as a married adult who waited till marriage to have sex, the realization that sex is not actually that big of a deal. And like, don't get me wrong, I think it's a critical part of a relationship. I think it's it is a sacred thing. Yeah. To be able to trust someone with your body and to be trusted with their body. Don't get me wrong about that. But I think if I had it so built up in my head for so long, mm-hmm. That I thought it was this huge thing that was going to be crazy life changing when I had it, and it wasn't. Yeah. Right. And so like there's the sort of thought of like that's a big regret I have, is that I never pursued that idea, that concept in high school when I had lots of opportunities to. Yeah. Like, would I have changed that? Or there are lots of relationships that I would have pursued if I hadn't been of the mindset that you don't date anybody who you're not interested in marrying. And so like I didn't get to know some people because I chose not to date them, or or there are some people who like I didn't date because I valued our friendship too much, and I was worried about losing the friendship, and realizing now, looking back on it, I've kind of lost the friendship anyway because we've just grown apart over the years. And so like maybe I should have taken that chance, and even if it didn't work out, maybe we'd still be friends now, or closer friends now. Mm-hmm. I just that's the sort of like that's where my mind went, was like, okay, these are the things I actually regret the most. I wonder how they would be different.
No, it would be different. Yeah, it makes sense to me, man. Yeah, no, see, like, when you were talking about the whole, like, because we talk about sex from time to time, you're talking about how, like, you're waiting till marriage and everything, like, in my mind, that was just fucking silly. I was like, damn, I didn't know people still fucking did that shit, but, I mean, it's common. I'm not saying that you're, like, a rare breed. No, for sure. And, like, in retrospect, it was silly. And I didn't know how silly it was, because everybody, and part of it is maybe I'm not, maybe I'm on a different spectrum of sex than some people. Because like I had one of our uncles told me before I turned 13, he's like, you're going to turn 13, the only thing you're going to think of is women.
And I didn't, to be honest. I didn't think of men either, to be clear. I really didn't think about sex at all at 13.
You're more of an academic person anyways.
Right, yeah. Now that there's a word for it, I'm probably on the asexual spectrum somewhere. I still have sex and enjoy it, and it's an important part of my life, don't get me wrong. But it's not like a critical driving factor to me, personally.
Yeah.
So, but maybe it would have been if I'd had it as a teenager. I don't know.
Right. No, I mean, I'd say yes. I think if you were to have sex before you got married, I think it definitely would change a lot. I think it would. But I don't know. I mean, realistically, I think you waiting, probably, you waiting gave you an opportunity to be the person you are today, and the person you are today is pretty great. You're a great guy. Yeah. I think it would have made you a little bit more goofy back in the day, because you would have just been chasing, to me, I think it's almost like a drug. It's not like, like an excessive need.
That's my impression of it, in retrospect too. Is like all the people I know who had it too early, it's all they think about, and all. Not it's not everybody. I'm sorry for generalizing, but lots of people I know made a lot of mistakes in their dating lives because they were more interested in sex than anything else.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I think that's. I think it's shitty to live like that. I honestly believe that you need to have a connection with somebody. I think you need to. I did the same thing you did. I dated people based on is this a long term? Is this like forever thing? Right. And I mean there were opportunities where I could just dated somebody in the moment, had fun, lived life, and just whatever. Yeah. And I just did because it just wasn't who I was. But honestly, a lot of times when I date somebody, and everything, the first thing I think about is I bet they're fucking good in bed. It's wrong to think that, but that's just where my mind goes.
I mean, it's an important part, Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a sexual connection. It's just right. In order for a relationship to work, there's,
For sure.
It's. Yeah. Anyways, but that's what I'm freaking thinking about the past and present, future button stuff.
Yeah. But and I will say what I like about that is it doesn't actually change anything in my current life. It just it gives me the possibility of seeing it. Maybe it wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't that be a pain? Wouldn't that hurt to know?
Right? You're like, I'm gonna change everything. You come back and oh, same shit, different day. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. So, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if an hour of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough for our listeners and they need to get more of Cartoon Joe, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify, actually, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Perfect. Guys, we're going to do the personality test on the next episode because this episode, not only did we say, hey, we're going to cut it off because we're running late, we added another 30 minutes onto what we fucking so
professionals.
Yeah, that's what we do. So you know what? I love the fact that we said hey, you know what? We're going to keep these shows to 45 minutes.
Yep.
No.
Well, what's nice is you can do 2 45-minute shows now out of this one, probably.
I could. God, gosh, we are too good. But these are these are the ones that we need to make more. This is how we do lives. We should do lives like this because this gets more people involved in it. But make sure you follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just searching this freaking show, and of course you can find us whenever our shows release on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. Make sure you go to thisfreakingshow.com, check out our website, contact us through there or through email at thisfreakingshow@yahoo.com. If you're a content creator and you want to come on the show and talk to us about what you guys do, because we love to meet new people and hear about the things that they create. Fun fact, we had a bunch of submissions on the website of people who wanted to come on the show.
Right.
That I knew nothing about because the website never sent us notifications that people were reaching out to us. So for those of you who reached out to us 10 months ago about movies and bands and stuff, I really apologize. I had no idea that I wasn't getting notifications. I just assumed people weren't going through the website. So I'm going to check the website more commonly now just because I have no faith in it.
Yeah.
And I'll try to see if maybe I can reach out to those guys and see if they're still willing. Kids of Comedy is going to come on the show in July. We're going to talk with her. She's trying to push me to use Discord as a recording thing because she doesn't have Skype anymore, and I'm old and technology scares me, so we'll see.
I hear you.
But that's all I got, guys. As always, I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of this freaking show. I'm out.